Hi, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing you the Wrestling Time post show. And for tonight, I will be reviewing both AEW Rampage and Friday Night Smackdown. Alright, so it's been a while, I know, since I've done a live stream, but let's talk about Rampage first. So tonight's Rampage kicked off with Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus All Ego Ethan Page. And when this match started, Ethan Page went after Jungle Boy, and he tried to hit him with the All Ego. So I have to say, this match to me seemed like it was more between the storyline that's going on with Ethan Page and Matt Hardy, as it seemed like there was moments in this match where Matt Hardy was helping Jungle Boy instead of trying to help Ethan Page win this match. So there is this one moment where Hook came out, and you guys know a jungle hook, and Matt Hardy is just looking at Hook on the entrance ramp, and Ethan Page grabs onto Matt Hardy's ponytail as he's trying to pin a Jungle Boy, but Matt Hardy kind of pulls away, and this causes Ethan Page to lose the match. So at the end of the match, Ethan Page is questioning whether Matt Hardy is his friend and has his back. And so he issues a challenge. It's going to be Jungle Hook versus All Ego Ethan Page and Matt Hardy on Dynamite, because Ethan Page wants Matt Hardy to make it up to him for costing him this match. So I thought it was a good match, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to that tag team match because, as you know, Ethan Page does own the contract of Matt Hardy and a Private Party. So it seems like we're leading to a point where Matt Hardy is going to try to break free from Ethan Page. Perhaps at Revolution, I would think that match would take place. Then we get a backstage, we get an in-ring segment with Ortiz and Eddie Kingston. And you guys know, it seems like House of Black has caused a rift between Ortiz and Eddie Kingston, as Ortiz called out Eddie Kingston, saying that he isn't the person he thought he was. And his friend is completely losing it because he almost hit a woman with a steel chair, and that's a line you can't cross. Now, he was talking to Tony Schiavone during this, and he called out Eddie Kingston. And so Eddie Kingston comes out with the steel chair, and he pretty much hits Ortiz with that steel chair. And so House of Black has succeeded in what they wanted to do, causing a rift between Ortiz and Eddie Kingston. Now, it's surprising that they went with Eddie Kingston because I thought Ortiz was going to be the one to turn here, but I'm pleasantly surprised that they went with Eddie Kingston. So I like that. But I guess we're building to Ortiz versus Eddie Kingston. Then we find out Darby Allin wants to beat every single member of the House of Black. So he basically issues an open challenge to face each member, and he will face Buddy Matthews first. We get Willie Mack versus Brian Cage, and I have to say, I was at Dynamite this past week, and I saw Willie Mack versus Brian Cage for AEW Dark, and I thought it was a really good match. Willie Mack is so impressive. Like, if anybody watched him in Impact Wrestling, you would know just how good Willie Mack is. So I'm not surprised this match was good. Willie Mack, honestly, I'm really happy for him. I don't think he's all elite. I haven't seen a graphic for him. If anybody out there knows if Willie Mack is officially signed with AEW, please let me know. But having seen Willie Mack since Lucha Underground, he's just great. Yeah, he definitely is. Like I just said, he was on Impact Wrestling. He had a whole run in Impact Wrestling. So if you missed his run in Impact, I highly suggest you go and check it out. He was fantastic in Impact. And so I'm not surprised he had a great match here with the Machine, Brian Cage. We get Jade Cargill and Leila Gray versus Jordan and Jaia Vanity. Honestly, this was pretty much a squash match. And to help Jade get to 49-0, the Vanity Twins really didn't do much in this match. So there's not much more I can say about that. And in our main event was Daniel Garcia versus Action Andretti. This is a good match. Now, Daniel Garcia had to win this if he was going to team up with Chris Jericho, and they were going to be Jericho instead of Les Sex Gods. But I was pulling for Action Andretti on this one. And one of the things that I like that they did, let me see. I think I might have seen Willie Mack on NWA Power before. Oh, I haven't seen him on NWA Power, but if he is on there, I definitely will check that out. one of the things that they did that I like this is that instead of having the run-of-the-mill main event promo, they did a video package, which I actually liked a lot better than the promo. So I really, really like this. And I was so hilarious. Daniel Garcia came out wearing those black leather pants that Sammy Guevara gave him on Dynamite. And if you were paying attention to Chris Jericho on commentary, he made a reference to a learning tree, which reminds me of Brian Myers' learning tree from Impact Wrestling. But actually, Andretti does not disappoint. He's been on Thor to Chris Jericho's side since he beat Chris Jericho. I mean, he took a fireball, and Chris Jericho cannot get rid of him. And I think it's going to be pretty hard to get rid of Action Andretti. Really impressive. I really love that backbreaker to neckbreaker combo that he did on Daniel Garcia. And I am not surprised Action Andretti won this match. What I am surprised is that we didn't get a post-match beatdown here, since Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho were both on commentary. But overall, I thought that was a great match. It was probably my favorite between all the matches that took place. It was probably my favorite one of the night. The learning tree of Jericho. Drink it in the knowledge, man. That's a good one. I really like that. All right. But overall, tonight's Rampage just felt like a regular Rampage. I didn't think there was anything special about it. We had some good matches. The women's match was kind of okay. It was a squash match, but we still got a women's match. But overall, I thought it was a decent Rampage. So I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's just a regular run-of-the-mill Rampage. Okay. So with that being said, that concludes Rampage. Let's move over to everyone's favorite Friday night show, Friday Night Smackdown. 5 out of 10 Rampage, really? Okay. So, SmackDown started off with the Bloodline arriving, and Sami Zayn did his usual greets with the Usos. He tried to fist bump Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns was not having it. And this actually plays into many segments throughout the night. And even though they take place after the matches, I'm going to talk about them all in one segment. So after this, pretty much Sami Zayn confronts Roman Reigns in his locker room and asks him if everything is cool, and he starts to wonder why. He tries to play it off like everything is cool, and Roman tells him to be honest and to Jade Cargill for the win 50. Oh yeah, she's definitely gonna get 50. Oh, and so Roman demands Sami Zayn tell him the truth. And I like the fact that Sami did this. He says that maybe KO is right and that they're just using him. And Roman's face, just like, he did not look happy that Sami Zayn brought that up. And so he orders Sami Zayn to get out. And he says that when does Roman have to run the plan by Sami Zayn, and tells him to go find KO. So I actually really love that because the cracks are starting to show here. It's only a matter of time now before the Bloodline turns on Sami Zayn. So after that, you had Heyman kind of talk to Roman, telling him he supports his vision for the Island of Relevancy, but he warns him that it's better to have Sami Zayn in the castle than outside of the castle, especially with the contract signing with Kevin Owens. So he asked for Paul Heyman to get Sami Zayn. And Roman basically says that he wants clear communication and wants Sami Zayn to be a part of this team. And that you don't become the GOAT unless you go over every little detail. And Sami Zayn says that he walked in expecting the worst. And it's glad to hear Roman say this. And that he will always do what's best for the bloodline and for the family first. And he basically tells Sami to find the Usos and make sure everything is ready for the contract signing. And then he fist bumps Sami Zayn. So it seems like the cracks are starting to show. And it's only a matter of time before the bloodline kicks out Sami Zayn. But I really, really like this. And I like the fact that they're putting such a focus on this because they got multiple segments. Like, I combined them all, but that was all multiple segments throughout the show. With the Royal Rumble being next week, it's a matter of time. I mean, when does the bloodline turn on Sami, or does the Sami Zayn turn on the bloodline? But I honestly think it would mean a lot more for the bloodline to turn on Sami than for Sami to turn on the bloodline. So with that being said, SmackDown kicked off with a tag team contenders tournament. It was Banger Bros, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus the Viking Raiders. This was one hell of a match. I actually really liked this match. It was a great match. I felt bad for the Viking Raiders because I really wanted the Viking Raiders to win this. I feel like the Viking Raiders have constantly been getting the short end of the stick. They had so far good matches since they came to SmackDown, but yet they can't seem to become contenders or challenge for these tag titles. That was a banger of a match. It definitely was. Now, I wonder if the plan here would be to take those titles off the Usos first, and then eventually somewhere down the road, the Viking Raiders can get a victory and eventually win those SmackDown tag titles. They've been Raw tag team champions and they've been NXT tag team champions, but they have yet to win the SmackDown tag titles. So I feel like it's been an injustice to the Viking Raiders because they're really, really good, but they just can't seem to get a tag team title shot. I guess maybe they're holding off until after the Usos drop the titles. That's my only thing I can think of. But if that's not the case, then I don't know what's going on here with the Viking Raiders. Eric and Ivar wearing them boys armbands. As we all know, Jay Briscoe did pass away. So, and Michael Cole on commentary did acknowledge that. So that was a really nice thing for them to do. But this is a really good match. And so Sheamus and Drew McIntyre end up being victorious until they advance in the tournament. We get an LA Knight promo. And he's basically talking about Bray Wyatt here and how he says he's pretty much going to Bray Wyatt's been living check to check, and it's just a fact that this is before his match. He had a squash match. He fought some guy named Greg Jones. And throughout this match, which was a really short match, by the way, Bray Wyatt's logo appeared on the Titantron. And I thought for a second, oh my God, this guy, Greg Jones, is going to beat LA Knight because that's usually what happens, is to cause a distraction. And then, but no, this was a squash match. LA Knight was victorious. And so at the end, we get the return of the Firefly Funhouse. And Bray Wyatt starts talking about how he's missed us so much and he can't wait to have lots of fun with all his friends. And I like that he says, let me holla at you, player. And then he winks and Uncle Howdy appears on the Titantron. I think that they are moving backwards with Bray. I don't know where they are going with him. Honestly, at this point, I don't know either. I'm very curious to see what about this Pitch Black match. It's sponsored by Mountain Dew, which I'm not a huge fan of Mountain Dew, but we know this already. So at some point, I feel like after this Pitch Black match, we have to move forward with Bray Wyatt. Where is all this leading to? I know we are on the road to WrestleMania, as you can say, which starts on Saturday. So we have to slowly start moving these storylines forward. WrestleMania is about 3 months away. Well, almost 2, because January is almost over. So we gotta start putting the pedal on Bray Wyatt's storylines. It was good at first. It really was. That intrigued, but now it seems like I think the mystique is kind of wearing off a little bit because we still don't know who Uncle Howdy is. We don't know what happened to Uncle Harper. I think Uncle Harper only appeared once, and then the majority of the time it's been Uncle Howdy. So we get another tag contender tourney match. It's Los Lotharios versus Hit Row. Was not the biggest fan of this match. I'm not really a huge fan of Hit Row. I do like the fact that they did turn them heels, and Top Dollar almost looked like he was mad at Michael Cole because he brought up with the time that Top Dollar botched that over the top rope. It's like WWE's clueless on where they are going with Bray Wyatt. It kind of does seem like that, honestly, at this point. Now, B-Fab grabbed Humberto Carrillo's boot while the ref was distracted, which allowed Hit Row to be victorious in this. Again, I'm hoping them being heels works out for them. Them as babyfaces wasn't working out too good, especially without Swerve Strickland in the group anymore. They just weren't clicking as baby faces. Top Dollar almost botched again tonight, going over the top rope. He really needs to stop doing that. He's not a high flyer, obviously. So he needs to be careful because he could seriously get injured. He either seriously injured himself or somebody else if he keeps botching that top rope. We get a Cody Rhodes package, and it's basically, again, to just reinforce the fact that he's going to be at the Royal Rumble. So I'm looking forward to Cody Rhodes returning, actually. Very curious to see what they do with him for WrestleMania. So we get a Charlotte Flair promo, and she's basically like talking about how Sonya Deville has a problem with her. She could say to her face woman to woman. And Sonya Deville comes out and basically wants to challenge, basically calls Charlotte arrogant and entitled. Charlotte offers to challenge Sonya tonight, but Sonya declines unless it's for the women's title. Honestly, I was not a huge fan of this. I'm really tired of Sonya Deville versus Charlotte Flair. We have a whole women's division. What is Charlotte gonna be in the Royal Rumble match? Is she defending? Like, what? Please tell me we're not gonna do Charlotte versus Sonya Deville at the Royal Rumble. Nobody wants to see this match again. And I think that's the problem. It's like, what are you gonna do with Charlotte going into WrestleMania? Like, she's gonna be holding the title? Okay, who logically are you gonna place her against with? Maybe Raquel? I don't think there's anybody on the roster that realistically that can. I mean, who are you gonna pair Charlotte up with? Okay, let's see. That segment was awful. I don't care about Charlotte versus Sonya. Me neither. I really don't. I don't think anybody does. So we get another tag team contenders tournament match. It is the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium. One hell of a match here. I actually absolutely love this match. It was a really great match. I'm not surprised Imperium won here. The Drew McIntyre and Sheamus winning their match kind of gave away the results of this match. Personally, I think it would have been fun to have the Brawling Brutes win. Imagine having the Brawling Brutes versus Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. I think that would have been interesting. The Imperium winning here, which just furthers the feud that they had with Sheamus. There is nobody that can face Charlotte. She went through all of them. Exactly. She ran through all of them. So realistically, there's nobody left for her to face. But nevertheless, I really, really like this match. I was a huge fan of this match. So I don't know what I like better, this match or Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus the Viking Raiders. But both matches were fantastic. Honestly, they were. But again, no surprise Imperium won. I think it would have been much better if the Brawling Brutes won. I think that would have been made for an interesting outcome. So we'll see what happens next week. We got segments from Shayna Baszler, Braun Strowman, and Raquel Rodriguez, all declaring that they're going to enter the Royal Rumble. The one thing that made me laugh about Raquel Rodriguez is being a fellow Latina. She talked about how 30 members of her family are going to be there watching her, which is such a Latino thing, like always having a big family and like 20, 30 members of your family like taking up a lot of space. We get the final tag team contender tournament match. It's Legado del Fantasma in the form of Joaquin Phoenix and Cruz del Toro versus Maximum Male Models. This match was won by Legado del Fantasma. No surprise there. I feel like the Maximum Male Models are pretty much jobless, although they are pretty funny. If anybody watches Making It Maximum on YouTube, it's actually pretty funny. And so that technically was the main event, because what closed off the show was Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens' contract signing. Her family will be there to witness her going over the top rope in her pearly white teeth. Yeah, pretty much. So did you guys know contract signings, weddings in wrestling never end well? Oh, and celebrations too. Contracts, weddings, and celebrations in wrestling never end well. And this was no exception. Maximum Male Models was shown tonight. Made me think Vince booked this show. So I actually really like the fact that KO came out here. He came out swinging. He attacked Solo Sikoa. He gave Roman Reigns a stunner. He super kicked Solo. Then the Usos came out. He sent Jimmy crashing into the steel steps. He powerbombed Roman through a table. He signed the contract. And then Sami Zayn came out. And Kevin Owens threw the contract at Sami Zayn. And then he left for it. So it's very interesting that Sami Zayn waited till the very end for him to come out instead of coming out with the Usos. That's very telling. Michael Cole was losing his shit during this when Kevin Owens came out. Yeah, exactly. Michael Cole has been a gem on commentary since Triple H took over. Like, he's much more of a natural. But, I did notice tonight's SmackDown did not have a single women's match. They put a huge emphasis on the tag team tournament. And out of the 4 matches, I like 2 out of the 4. But we did not get a women's match tonight. We got segments, but that's not the same thing. Like, you could have taken out a 2 out of 10. You really think it's that awful? You could have taken out one of the matches and saved it for next week. Or you could have, like, honestly, the one you could have taken out was Legado Del Fantasma versus Maximum Models. I felt like that one. Or you can even take out Los Lotharios versus Hero. I feel like those 2 were the 2 weakest matches of tonight's tournament. Like, honestly, you could have saved those for next week and you could have put 1 or 2 women's matches there. We did not have a women's match on tonight's show. It was that awful. It felt like Vince McMahon booked the show. I don't think he did, because I'll tell you why. If he did, we would not have gotten a lot of tag team wrestling. I think Vince McMahon hates tag team wrestling. We wouldn't have gotten such a huge spotlight on the tag team wrestling, but it wouldn't have hurt to help to include at least 1 women's match. So I think I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10, just because we didn't get 1 women's match, and I felt like the women's segments were not that good, and out of the 4 tournament matches, 2 of them were pretty weak. But overall, that concludes tonight's review. What did you guys think? What did you guys like better, Rampage or SmackDown? Let me know in the live chat or in the comments if you're watching a replay of this. But it feels so good to be back and to be live streaming again, you guys. Hopefully next week I can get back on my schedule. I do have a lot of unboxings coming out. Let me see. Rampage was better. I definitely do agree. I think Rampage was a better show just because I felt like it was a little bit more focused and there wasn't a lot going on. And it was your standard run-of-the-mill Rampage, but I still did like it a little bit better than SmackDown. I do have a lot of unboxes coming out that I did not get a chance. I still haven't gotten a chance to film, but so just keep an eye out for those. And we did get some Power Ranger news, so I'm working on a video for that. But with that being said, you guys, please thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I hope to see you guys live Monday after Raw, which would be the 30th anniversary celebration and the go home show to the Royal Rumble. Have a great night, guys.